As you read Genesis 1, you get a strong sense that the author is building towards something. Each day, a new element is introduced into creation, and with each new day, the one God introduced in the first verse is given further context within our minds. He is not just the God who began creation, He is the God who created everything. He is not just the God of a small part of creation, not just the God of the waters or the God of the harvest or the God of the sun. He's the God of all of it. The image of God that the author wants us to have is an image of a God that is bigger than any other God cultures at the time or today might have worshipped. On day 5, he populated the seas with all the fish and the creatures of the deep, but on day 6, he focuses attention on populating the land. Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. It's a big day. All of the animals, aardvarks, alligators, ants, and armadillos, God made them. Baboons, beavers, bonobos, and buffalo, they're His. Camels, cats, cows, and crocodiles. You get the point. I'm not going to go through the whole alphabet. Wherever a creature is found, God's workmanship is on display, and that would be a big day of creation. Certainly enough to be all of day 6. But there's more. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him. Male and female, He created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the gift of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. And God saw everything that He had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the 6th day. God creates man. We get that part. God gives man dominion over the earth. Lots of people get and maybe abuse that bit. God tells mankind to be fruitful and multiply. With billions of people on the face of the planet, I think it's safe to say we've taken at least some of that seriously. But the words that I want us to hear today are this: God created man in His own image. In the same way that the first 6 acts of creation are intended to tell us that there are no gods like the God introduced in verse 1, verse 27 tells us that this final creation is unlike all that came before. Distinct, different. Man is given special attention. Man is created in the image of the Creator. It should be clear to us that when we live as though we are created in the image of God, we should find fulfillment. But when we reject that image in ourselves or others, trouble comes. We'll talk more about that in our follow-up series, but I want to plant the seed today. Now, I know that this series is titled Genesis 1, but tomorrow we'll be taking 3 verses from Genesis chapter 2. Lots of smart people were involved in translating and numbering the chapters and verses of the Bible. I don't want to downplay anyone's efforts, but if you need an example of how chapters and verses often give a false sense of where the narrative ends, look no further than Genesis chapter 1, verse 31 through 2, verse 3. We still have one more day to look at. I love you, and I pray today that you remember that you were created in the image of a magnificent, incomparable, and awesome God. I also pray that you remember that every person you encounter is also created in His image.